I'm an agent engineer here at Vapi. What I want to talk about today is the hardest part of actually working with voice AI. And it may not be what you think. It's not the models, it's not the latency, it's the ability to stay in control. So really, your organization, your company, being able to stay in the driver's seat of the entire process when you start putting these AI agents in front of your customers. We'll spend about 20 minutes, maybe less, so we catch up on schedule. But a little bit of context, a little bit of framing for this conversation and also who I represent. We're Vapi. It is the enterprise platform for voice. We have over 62 million monthly calls through our platform, over 500K developers, and we have an average latency of sub 500 milliseconds, basically zero. You wouldn't hear it on your ear. I don't bring this all up to brag, maybe a little, but actually I haven't been with the company that long, so it has nothing to do with me actually. But it's really when you're working at this scale and you see all these enterprises actually deploying their agents, you quickly see what breaks, what works, and overall we've collected a lot of learnings that hopefully could apply to you guys as you start to deploy and leverage these AI agents. So this is what we're thinking. We'll start off with a why now. I'm sure you've heard this a lot, this conference. But really what I want to focus on is the feedback loop and breaking down that feedback loop into 3 different parts. You have your building, you have your testing, and then you have your deploying and adapting, monitoring your voice agents, and then we'll go through a couple examples of enterprises already using this playbook. All right, so a little bit of the why now. 80% of companies are planning to integrate voice technology this year, not testing, but actually implementing, not thinking about it, but actually planning. The value of the voice market is going to be over $33 billion by 2030. I should be asking for a raise probably. And this one's big. This is probably the most important part that is new, and I think it's very tied to the use cases, but a 30% increase in customer satisfaction when deploying with AI. Because normally the idea is that, oh, it's cheaper, but the experience is going to be much worse. And what we've seen actually is the overall satisfaction scores go up over time, and we have some stats for that as well. You've probably seen this a bunch, but line goes up. The point here is, guys, is not to tell you what model you should use or models. It's going to change all the time. Honestly, this is already out of date. The point here is that it's not whether the technology can do this stuff. It can do this stuff. It's just a matter of, is your company, is your organization ready to actually deploy and manage these things properly? And this is why people aren't doing it, and maybe you guys are thinking about it or trying to learn more about it, but there's a lot of fear around adoption. You know, number one, in most cases, there's not a lot of easy ways to test. You know, you guys build it, it looks cool, it feels cool, but you're just kind of sending it in front of your customers and hoping for the best. There's no way to observe or monitor the agent's interactions. So, okay, it worked, but now I have no idea how well it's going. Like maybe sales are going up or down. I really don't have a clear way of actually drilling into this stuff. And then finally, mistakes are expensive to the bottom line. Not only is it financially expensive, but when these things go wrong, like they go really, really wrong. Like you'll go viral on Twitter for all the wrong reasons. So this is very important reputationally for you guys to be able to manage these things and, you know, have control. All right, so this is the feedback loop. You know, this is trademarked probably, I doubt it, but just keep this in mind when you guys are building and you're thinking about AI voice in general. So first you need to have flexibility when you're building. You know, it needs to be your systems, your CRM. You don't want to buy a product, or you could, but a lot of products have a point of view. You make your business work for their AI agent. We think it's best to have flexibility in your building so that, you know, it's close to your business and you also understand what the heck is going on with your AI agent. You want to be able to test these things. It's honestly pretty easy to build. We'll see sort of an animation of building one of these super duper quick. The testing, getting it from 95% to 99% is really the challenge. So having lots of eval simulations, we'll go through a couple stuff like what that looks like in Vapi, but this applies to all AI agents generally. And then finally, the ability to observe and adapt. You need to know what's going on with these agents. I talked a little bit about it, but to observe easily, get alerts, know what's going on before the end of the quarter, and then being able to easily adapt these agents to get better over time. The most important part, us, you, this feedback loop needs to have humans at each part. We don't want to let the AI decide how it's going, build itself. There's a little bit of the AI building the AI, but you really want to have the ability to see, is this working? Are the simulations panning out the way I want it? I'm monitoring these things. I have resolution. This picture is AI. It's one of my favorites. I like what it did with my eyebrows. Right? It's nice. All right, so control. This is really the whole focus of today. We're going to use this example for the rest of the 15 minutes we have. If I'm on time, probably not. Health insurance qualification. This is a great use case, or great one for AI voice agents. There's a Medicaid season. There's all these health insurance companies. They have to quickly scale up their operations. They have to train all these people to go out and call these people that should be ready for Medicaid. It's tough to train them. It's tough to hire them. And then they're all after the same leads, the same numbers. Every company has the same. So it's just a race. But this is perfect because it's scripted, but it's not scripted. So just reaching out, an outbound example calling in. So you have massive peaks. They compete for the same leads. And the voice agent can handle the full qualification because it's semi-scripted, but it's not fully scripted. So it could be a little general. I think it's super important to think about these use cases. It's a voice, it's like a human. There is a little bit of risk. There are some places you want to use the AI agent, and other places they make less sense. So keep this in mind. We'll talk about this as we continue to just highlight the importance of control. All right, so we're at the build phase, right? So we'll go through each section. We want to be able to control how the AI agent works. We want to have flexibility in order to configure agents to your systems, your specifications, and then move down the rest of the feedback loop. So this is our vibe coding tool, Composer. This is available on the platform now. Think Claude Code, Codex. The idea here is that I can describe my business, my use case, exactly my workflow, the systems I have connected, and then Composer will work with you to build this agent in a way that works for your business. So I'll let this play a little bit while I catch up on my notes. You can see here it's generated the prompt, the message, it's choosing the models for you, but I still have the human in the loop here, right? I can go make adjustments, I could change the transcriber, I can change the model, the voice. It sounded like you guys were learning a little bit about a cascade workflow. This is what Vapi does incredibly well. All right, all caught up. Yeah, and the main part of having the ability to build these yourself is that it should be easy to do. This shouldn't take 6 months. I have some examples that took 2 weeks, and you want to know how it works. You don't want only your lead back-end engineer to know how this thing works. So having this ability to really build it in a flexible way and then generate it, have everyone understand it. It's generated different tools. This is one of the cooler parts of the platform, so we'll let this play out. Has anyone here played around with Claude Code or used any agent platforms to build? Awesome. Have you tried Vapi? Oh, everyone's hands? Oh, that's awesome. Great to hear. All right, let's move on. So this really unlocks 3 things. It's the ease, right? So that it can really democratize the ability for your employees. They know the business case, they know the process the best. Flexibility, we're connected to your CRM, your EHR, your ERP, insert any acronym. And then really the comprehension, which I talked about a little bit already, because they're already a black box. So you want to know what you've put around it, what's called the agent harness. All right, so now on to the next phase, and it's the testing. So this is the brutal part. And luckily, I'm sort of pre-sales, So I spin up these AI agents. They just need to look good, on my calls. But to make them work all the time, every time, in front of your customers is incredibly important. And in order to really, test these things at scale, the only answer to that is not getting a larger QA team. It's using AI to test AI. So what we have here, and I'll let this play as well, it's called simulations. And once again, this is all Vapi stuff, but the concept still applies to any sort of framework you are using. But within Vapi, we're making it really easy to create the personality, the scenario, the goals, and you could have it chat at hyperspeed via text, or you could actually have voice-to-voice interactions to really stress test this thing at a high level. So you imagine that it's got some funny names in there, like uncertain, or there'll be like Grumpy George, or Old Man Bob. Some people in real life, they'll wait 15 minutes, or they'll think for 10 seconds and then ask a wild question. So as much as you try to plan for these things, it can be very hard. So to have dozens of personalities, hundreds of simulations, this will tease out the issues. And the big thing here is discovering these bugs, these issues, before your customers do, right? Because you could build this, it sounds really good, you could have all your friends test it, but the real world, the people that will be calling this thing, or this thing will be calling, they come in all shapes and sizes. So this is how we do it on our platform. A composer will help you with this as well. And right now, this is semi-recorded, but I think there's a bug in the platform where you could test simulations right now without an enterprise license. So I would go run and try this out, actually. Just ask Composer to set it up for you. All right, guys, so the benefits of testing in general for enterprise or really any organization, it's the confidence, right? I feel good about this. I have data. I know it's hitting its marks. I use Claude Code as like a second layer where I have it look at the transcript to do a sanity check so that when I go into these meetings, I know the AI agent is going to perform the way I need it to perform. Initiative, so awesome. We could spin up an agent super duper fast. Let's go and test it. Let's go out and test these edge cases. We've added a new capability to the agent. We've given it a brand new tool, a new use case. Great, let's not wait for it. Let's just start testing right away. Find these things before customers do. And then testing at scale, right? It could be hard. In the old days, you would have to hire a huge QA team. They're just calling or messing with whatever you made. Let's use AI to test AI at scale. All right, so the next stage after building and then testing, it's the ability to observe and adapt. Once these things are out there and you've really deployed them at scale, you're just hoping for the best. There's nothing native to these LLMs, to these models that will sort of, hey, like I'm messing up. There's a lot of reasons why things can change. You could build a really great prompt, everything's working fine, but maybe your API slowed down all of a sudden. Maybe one of your models started to have a lot of latency out of nowhere. There are a lot of technical issues that could happen, but even from just an overall compliance or metric point of view, suddenly there used to be 50% signups, but now there's only 20% signups. What is that issue? What's happening? You want to get alerts right away versus finding out at the end of the quarter or when your boss starts asking questions. So what we have inside the platform is called monitors. It's basically focused on 3 different things. I think there's a technical monitor, there is a efficiency monitor, and then there is a compliance monitor. And it's all the same idea, right? Just keeping an eye on this thing, making sure it's doing what it's supposed to. So you can see their effectiveness, compliance, technical, and then I saw infrastructure. And it's all being generated by AI, so we'll make it really easy on you. And it's almost another AI agent watching your AI agent so that these things work in the way that they're supposed to. And there's all sorts of reasons, because AI is strange because it's such a creature, right? But you might want to use a new model, and suddenly your prompts, your tools, the model just acts a little bit different. Some are more friendly, some are more technical, and you want to get this new feature, you want better speed, but everything is a little odd now, so you'll have drift. And so suddenly you have to sort of do the simulations again, set up the monitors again. It's a constant process. Unlike old software, it was very deterministic, so nothing should change. I think things are changing all the time here, not counting consumer behavior or changes in your overall workflow. All right, guys, so the benefits here, is just the trust, that we have something set up that's going to catch the issues before your customers do. Like, you guys must have seen all the things that can go wrong with an AI agent. So it's huge amount of reputational risk. Scale, you don't have to do this by hand. You're just going to get an alert that you've set up automatically. And then resolution is the big one, right? Resolving these things before they become a bigger issue. All right, so now we're just going to go over a couple success stories. But before I do, we're doing good on time, I think. I almost want to open it up for questions. Any burning questions that someone wants to scream out on any of these? Please go ahead.
So on your first slide, that 30.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe that 30%.
Oh, yeah. Well, it really depends on the use case.
Is that Vapi specific?
I think this is overall what the industry is seeing, which is a good call out because
it's wrong.
Yeah, I think overall, this is probably like customer experience, like inbound, like depends on where you're using it. We've all called up, like 1-800-Flowers isn't bad, I don't know who's doing them, but I called up like Capital One and I'm like, what is going on? And it's like the adoption. I guarantee you 80% of what you're seeing is a lot of deterministic workflows. People are afraid to fully adopt it, but this should be in a use case that makes sense, where a person's like allowed to flub, like the voice can make a mistake, like where humans make lots of mistakes. People are trying to shoot AI at everything, and that's a bad idea overall.
The only reason I'm bringing it up is because I've listened to so many calls where people are literally saying to the AI, please bring back the old way where I want to push one and
human.
This is a mess.
Yeah. Billing. Yeah, it breaks my heart. Obviously, it's like my personal life mission at the moment until they fire me is to get these things working. But I do feel you, and I'll blame my marketing guy. That was him. I think he made one of these slides. Wasn't him. It was Joe. My bad. But it's just really important to think about, and because the idea of if this is so good, why isn't it everywhere yet? And the idea is that like there are buying habits. Everyone's tipping their toes in it. They want to control all their data. They're like afraid of where things are going. They have to use their particular models. So I don't think the best is out there yet. But like, are they monitoring this thing? Are they simulating these things? Like, if you say please bring it back, like that agent should automatically know to hand it over to a human. And I think a lot of the satisfaction scores go to there's less waiting time. So automatically they're never going to be on hold again. Someone's going to pick up. And two, when you do get to a human, the human's less grumpy. Because they get yelled at all day, they're working all day, so that's the idea. Any other questions? Thank you. We can go over some of the success cases. Probably my marketing team wants that. How am I doing on time?
Well, you took one question, so 4 minutes.
Oh, beautiful. Any other burning questions, guys?
Okay.
Please, brother. I'd rather do questions. Just trust me, we're doing awesome. It's dope stuff. Maybe I'll just leave one of these up here. Yeah, go ahead.
Hey there. Thanks for the talk so far.
Yep.
I'm wondering if I want to use Vapi.
Yep.
And I, for example, have a decent amount of like call recordings, or I have a decent amount of like production traffic already.
Yeah.
Can you sort of like automatically tell me which ASR LLM TTS combination is best on like metrics that are defined, without sort of like me individually trying out all these things, kind of like an auto defining the pipeline or optimizing the pipeline? That's my first question.
Yep.
And the second question is, can I also test some like different difficult acoustic conditions with your whole test suite?
Yeah, for your first question, probably not. That's a good question. Like, I don't know, because we're spinning up AI agents to talk to AI agents, and at the very least, it's voice to voice, and you can listen to that conversation. I don't think we have I know I could add office background music or noise to like to make it sound more natural, but I don't know if we have a toggle that's like bad audio, like test this in bad audio. So that's a great feedback. For your first question, it's tough, like everyone's gonna say like, yeah, absolutely, AI could do anything. Like we can look at all of your transcripts and you might be able to find opportunities for automation at a high level. But the combination of the transcriber, the model, and the voice, it's mostly like the amount of latency that's allowed, what languages are you looking to support, how smart do you need this thing to be. Often when I see my clients finally get to like bigger levels of production, we'll have a suite of agents, like it's called like a squad internally, but it starts to make a lot of sense to have a triaging agent up front, and then you have agents specializing. So unfortunately, I think it's like you find someone who knows, or this stuff's been around like not even 2 years, so I don't know if there's best practices yet. But our team, for instance, has been doing this for like 1.5 to 2 years. So we know the combinations that are working, or we know what Amazon's using for their example that we have. So we have a lot of people on it, and because this is developer focused for a long time, we have a lot of examples and data, so we can at least give you something. But I don't know. These models come out, and you might have to test it out and then use the simulator. Gotcha. Any other questions, guys? Please.
Hey, thanks for the talk.
You got it.
So you mentioned early on that the cascaded approach is kind of your bread and butter. I'm interested for your thoughts on native speech-to-speech models.
Yeah. There's still a lot of orchestration that goes around any of these models. So you saw in the rest of the platform, the monitoring, the simulations, the ability to take out structured inputs. There's a lot going on outside of just the pipeline, but that cascading model is our bread and butter. I wonder what's going to happen because, and I think Thor mentioned it last time, it's going to sound good, but like it's super black box. Like it's bad enough that the LLM was already a black box, but now I don't know, like, because someone ran up, was asking me a question earlier today, and the AI was responding incorrectly, and I'm like, well, we need to figure out, is it the transcriber or is it the LLM? Is it the logic, is your instructions wrong, or is it just hearing things incorrectly? So I think it'll be good for certain use cases. Once again, like I don't care, like it sounds so good, I just want a natural conversation. But if I want a lot of metrics around this, like it's a super intense use case and I need to know how is it doing on both ends, I want that flexibility. I think it'll be a while to have the customization you need. I almost think personally, like it'll be one or the other, but I don't think the cascading model is going anywhere. Just because sometimes it'll be nice to have, I want a multilingual one over here, I'm going to use this LLM because it's very mathy, and then I'm going to use this voice because it's this particular customer in this country, and then I want to switch it up again for this other use case or this other demographic. But we'll see. But it's a good question for my product team. Like zero latency. It was hard to get all three of these things working together. That's what we're very good at scale. But once the one that rules them all comes, that's a question for all this stuff. Like all this AI stuff is converging very quickly, and hopefully by then I'm retired. So we'll see. Yeah.
You want to show us something before the end, or are you good?
No, that's it. I'll just, I'll leave you with this framework. Like no matter what you're building, you can go to vapiai.com, try out the composer, build it with your language, go out and test your agent, make sure you're running some sort of simulator scenario, and then make sure you have a monitor set up in production. And this is how enterprises are doing it right now. It's all doable. You don't have to have just a black box doing wild things. There is a correct way to do these things moving forward. So I appreciate it, guys.
Thank you.